Good morning, Matt. Glenn Jessome coming at you here this morning from Halifax, East Coast Canada. As you know, silver Tigre metals. I'm sure that I'm hoping that a lot of your readers and viewers are paying close attention to our little silver company as it evolves. It's going very well. So it's nice to see you again.
Good to see you, Glenn. Look, we said we'd do more regular, small, quick catch-ups. So I think today, in that vein, pardon the pun, just going to remind people where you've come from, what you're doing right now, and I guess the new news of the day is I won't spoil the surprise. We had a good catch up with your technical guy and my technical guy recently, yes, and he came off the back of that kind of buzzing about the work that you're doing trying to understand this sulfur-rich shale that you've got. So he was quite excited about that, and also the way that you're going about trying to understand the structures as well. So I thought that was a good session. I watched that back. That was good. But today you're going to give us a little bit of new news.
Yes. So look, it's as you get on the mountain, and you've seen us over the last year, almost a year and a half now. We bought deal financings, probably $35 million. We've always moved our share price up. We've done very, very well in a tough market since our last raise, 23 mil. That was all the top dogs. That was Franklin, that was Sam, that was Merck, all the top precious metals institutions. We've gone to work with that money, and boy, we've still got 13-14 million bucks left, but boy, have we done some great things. It was next, and the next, and now the next. The first was unlimited quartz veins. You see it. I'm not going to go through it. People follow us. Go look at our press release. Go to the website, silvertigermetals.com. 1, 2, 3 meters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 10 kilos. We've drilled stuff incredibly up to 82 kilos per ton, silver equivalent. That all being said, that was going great. And then out of nowhere, because the next was going to be what I'm going to tell you about in a few minutes, but then the shale evolved. Look, I'm going to tell you, did we expect that there was a big, wide horizon? Think about vertical silver veins coming up to surface and going down in this epithermal system for up to a kilometer. You've seen us drilling them. We've got tens of kilometers of them along strike. The old timers come in there and took a little nibble, got 100 million silver equivalent ounces, over 2.5 kilos from 1908 to 1930 when they went home with the Great Depression, in 100 and a 200 ton per day mill through those 20 years. Incredible. They nibbled. We knew it was lots left, and we're drilling it. And then all of a sudden, not expected, we started drilling wide zones last spring, summer. What the heck is this? What we were saying around these quartz veins, a horizon, if you can think about it, whenever they pass through that 40 meters, boom, blow out to precious metals, 10, 20, 25 meters of stuff north of a kilo. That's beautiful ore. And it took us a while, and what it is, it's a shale horizon we think is, and we're proving that, laid down across the entire project. Just go look at the last 4 or 5 press releases. Go look at our sections. I'll show you one just before we jump into the other news in a second. And it looks like it's everywhere. It's a game changer. It was the next. Now the next. Look, we are always moving forward our drilling, man, to resume mining. That's what happens in Mexico. These old mines, you get back in there, look at Cheese Pod to the south, you do your exploration and you resume mining. The next step is start to explore from underground. And that's well on the go today. And I'm going to talk to you about that and show you how we're going to do that and why we're doing it for the next. Go ahead.
Right. The press releases recently have been lots of the same, but high grade, narrow vein structures. I think the kind of revelation for even for me, sort of listening to the last session you technically, was just around these sulfur-rich shale. With 30-meter thicknesses and 40-meter thicknesses, was the way that it works. You see the high grade precipitating into this shale, which is obviously the lower grade stuff, and that's where I want to come to, because if I look at your headlines, you start with the high grade stuff, but it's narrow vein. But are you more excited by the kind of broader lower grade stuff? Because you always talk to me about contained metal, right? Surely you need to start majoring on that as part of the conversation and help people understand why that's also important, not just look at these high-grade numbers.
My goodness. So I'm going to show you real quick here in about 1 minute what we're thinking of. Remember our package. That's 35 kilometers that you're looking at on the screen. We think that shale horizon covers that middle 25 kilometers. So imagine that layer, and I'm going to show you a picture of that in a minute, going through all of this. But right now, as you know, right around the old mines where we've done all our work, real simple map right here, boom. We've drilled that shale horizon, so you understand. Across the 3 kilometers I've just marked, where the quartz vein comes through it on the Sui, you've seen those results. I'll show you a couple sections. We've drilled it all across the Seitz Kelly. The first hole we put through it, incredibly, was 82 kilos. But look in the shale. That was 18 meters of 2.6 kilograms. That's incredible. That's the shale. So we're seeing it now, and hang tight for this. We're seeing it all across here. We're seeing it here. We have a couple of test drill holes up this far to the north. And Anaconda did those. The old guys were in there in the 80s before they were put out of business. The shale we're seeing in the core here. Can't wait to go drill that shale up here. But so far here, fantastic. I'm going to show you a section so you understand it. Think about right here, this little box, and I'm going to show you a couple of sections right there, same section, from the Seitz Kelly across to the Sui, and you'll see how this is holding together. These are the last couple of press releases. This is brand new stuff. And there we go. Let's just start here. Look at that. There's the Seitz Kelly. It was right here. We drilled the 82 kilos, 18 meters of almost 2.7 kilos. We get in it. We go through the shale again. Boom. We got a half meter of a kilo, 16 of 200. But look at this. On the way down drilling the Seitz Kelly, brand new vein. Look at it in the shale. 16 meters of 350. 0.6 of 8. I'm going to take you now to the west, same section, and we're going to hit that Sui vein. Tigre in the middle. Pay attention for that. I'll let you one note on that before I show you the underground stuff. Look at that. We drilled it right there. That's that same horizon, that 30, 40 meters. It's continuous. We think it's across the whole project. 6.6 meters of 350, half meter of 3 kilos. Beautiful stuff. This is interesting. Stay tuned for your audience. You want a little appetizer. On the Tigre vein, the one up the middle, they only went down about 80 meters to level 4. We have all the mining records. The first hole is coming down here, never had a drill hole, never mind, on the Tigre vein through the shale. They're in the works, so stay tuned on some of those. Enough of that. That is what the shale is. Any questions on that, Matt? It's real simple.
Yeah, it's real simple, but you're talking at 1,000 miles an hour. So I just slow it down a bit. Tell me, the shale, it's laterally continuous, right? How long does this thing go on for? I mean, what are we, because now you've identified it and you understand a little bit more about it, or you're starting to understand a little bit more about it, is how do you extract the value from that bit? Forget the high grade stuff, but that bit alone would be, for lots of people, very exciting. So what are you going to do about it?
I got to show you that map again. I get excited when I start talking about shale. You can see that. I've got to calm down a bit. I agree. But if you look over here, there's 3 kilometers of the Sui vein. We've drilled it continuously across the 3 kilometers. We got drill holes across about 700 meters. The first 15 already. The Seitz Kelly. We're seeing it almost in every hole. We've seen it 3 kilometers north on Protectora. This is really holding together. Drills will be testing it here, continue here. We see no reason to believe that it's not where all of these veins go through. Now think about this. It continues on it's open 15 kilometers north and south. Let's dream big. But right now, we're going to delineate it right around here with tight drilling, and it's really holding up, Matt, incredibly well.
Okay, I want to get onto things like mining. This is a mining district in a second, but I'll let you talk about next. I think you called it earlier there, which is the new news, which is how you move this thing forward.
Absolutely. So I want, very important, picture tells the story. Remember, there's the old mine, and people should read that. There was the old Tigre mine. You can see it right here. The old timers right there in that 1.5 kilometers. 100 million silver equivalent ounces in 20 years and 100 and a 200 ton per day mill. Anybody who knows anything about mining knows exactly what they were mining. That it doesn't get higher grade than that. 2.5 kilos maintained that grade. On the Sui, very important. You're going to see a model that's on the Sui. They went home in 1930, silver 10 cents. They dropped their tools. We have on the Sui, they went to 150, drifted for 350 meters. 1.5, this is important, kilometers. They drifted on the Tigre for all that ore. At this northern end, they only went down less than 100 meters. At the deep here, they went down to 450. We're going to show you that in a minute, and you're going to see something very exciting, why we're going underground. And then on the eastern vein, the sites, they went to 150. We had all the mining records. We got them from the University of Wyoming. People are tired of hearing me say that, but it was worth tens and tens of millions of dollars. Blast samples, 35,000 of them. Every bottom level they stopped mining in was north of a kilo. Pretty simple what we got to do, drill down dip and go along strike where they didn't take it. But we've identified something we think down under, right here, and I'm going to show it to you, down underneath the northern end of that mine where they only went very shallow on the three veins. And I think the best way to show it is this one. And I hope your viewers can see this. This is incredible. This is what the guys went and built. 35,000 underground blast samples every 5 feet as they drifted and raised. All the underground mining engineering documents, all the stope maps. What you're seeing there is the old Tigre mine, real. It took us 6 months to digitize that after we got all this paper information from the University of Wyoming. You can see they went for the 1.5 kilometers. You can see at the north end, they went to 450. The stope is very important, very, very important. Imagine we know exactly what they took, the grade, and from where. And what you see is the black. That's the stope. Right there, that was about 65, 70 million silver equivalent ounces at over 2 kilos. Now, why is that important? I'm going to go plan view. Remember what I just showed you on the last map? Very important. There's the old mine. That's real. That's real time. That's the Sui vein. We've gone 1.5 kilometers north and south. Go look at the results. Wide zones, shale for 3 kilometers, super high grade, 1, 2, 3 meter widths in the quartz vein. We came over and we started the drill program on the Seitz Kelly. 3 drill rigs are working on this, 2 are on this one now. First one was 82 kilos. You go look at the results. You put out 2 press releases. Everything's half kilo, wide shale. Remember on these 2, they only went to 150. So Tigre, no drill holes in it yet. And went to about 90 meters there mining. And you'll see the first drill holes coming up. But I'm going to go back plan view. And remember the black as it disappears. It was only half meter they took for that super high grade, or a meter. We started to say, okay, look what happened here. This is why we're underground. This is very, very important. Next. They took the ore here. Look where they were developing. And developing means they were going north, driving their tunnels along the vein. They didn't raise and take the ore. They just did tunnel. Look where they were going south. Well, that's a whole other story. We're not talking about that. They were going north. Everything they were drifting in here was north of a kilo. On the bottom of the Seitz Kelly, which is here, the Tigre and the Sui over here, everything they stopped mining in at 150 and up, basically on the bottom level, was north of a kilo. They were going this way. Remember, this thing goes for 1 kilometer. It's open. Now I'm going to show you a little cartoon of what we think. And this is why we're going underground. Before we do that, I'm going to show you how we're going underground. We've got Cervini. That's one of the top developers in Mexico. They started with us back in Ocampo way back in 25 years ago. I think they're doing the underground development work, I'm pretty sure, for Silvercrest. They're one of the biggest in Mexico. They do all the development work for all the first world mines. They're on site now. They're mobilizing because we're going underground. I'm going to show you how we're going underground first, then I'm going to show you why. Right here, this is the real level 7 to the old mine. Back in 82, Anaconda were in here. They went through the whole mine. It was all safe then. We've been in it a little bit, but now we're going to make it first world safe. The scoop trams are coming. We're going to haul all the Rasaga waste rock out of there. It's 3-4 gram per ton material. Stockpile that for down the road. That's called stockpiling ore, because we need to get in here at level 7. We need to get in here, level 4 at the bottom where they mined the Tigre here, and down here to level 7.5. And the idea is we want to get in here because we want to drill from there. You see it really nicely where we'll be in that old mine. Basically, we'll be right about here. It's wet from 7 down, but we want to get down here. We want to look at this and look at this cartoon about why we want to look at that right there. There it is. What we think, there's the cartoon. You're now looking at that same thing I just showed you. It's a cartoon. But I want to impress on everybody, we have all the underground channel samples from where they stop mining, every 5 feet, if you can imagine. And our model only goes up down here to 500 grams, but all these magenta, the vast majority you see there, that's all north of a kilo. So imagine right here, I just showed you the old timers when they mined, they took the stope probably about there. You could see what they were developing and they just didn't raise. It was all north of a kilo. They were heading north. They stopped on the Seitz Kelly, the Tigre, and the Suey on the Seitz Kelly, which is in this picture at 150 meters. That right there is our first down dip hole. You can see it in the model. That was the 82 kilos, 17 meters of 2.7 kilos. They were going that way. And remember what happened here, and that's the incredible thing. Same as Cheeseball. 1930 came, Sonora emptied. The Americans all went home. The Swiss from Cheeseball went home. Silver was 10 cents. They'd taken and made their money. And then the Mexican Revolution had just ended. It was a dangerous place to be in the mountains. And these things sat for 80 years. Here's where they were going. Here's where they were going and never got there. And boy, is that exciting. That was 60 million silver equivalent ounces of over 2 kilos. Wonder what they were going after here. We've been drilling. You can see the terrain. That's why we're going underground. Terrain's rough here. We can get down underneath those 150, 200 meter stopes, easy. But we want to get a couple of drill rigs right in here. The controls you have from underground, Matt, are incredible. And we're just going to start going through this. And of course, this is open to great depth. This is only the 400 meters you'd be at here, 450. That's exciting. We'll do the same underneath the Tigre, and we'll do the same under the Suey. So that's the next. Now I'm going to show you one more thing. Let's go back to the model. Because sometimes, remember, the next was the Shale horizon. And we've been drilling that. You know, here's the next for that. This is going to get very exciting. Go back to that old mine. So let me mark this again. The mine is dry from about here up. You know, we're just going to come in through here and go across the 3 veins. What's really exciting is that Shale horizon should be right here. Boy, is that going to be interesting to go through all those stopes and see. Old timers, they never talked about it. They never mentioned it. Their cutoff was 1.3 kilos. They didn't care about shale. They were looking for your countertop, that quartz vein. That's all they followed. They didn't drill. They just drifted on it. If they lost it, they go find it. So never talked about it. So we think there might be some opportunity once we get in underground there, and you can see how that will work, to get some bulk sampling done, you know, along this shale horizon. That could get exciting too. So a kind of a bonus that we weren't planning for, but it'll be something we're paying close attention to besides drilling from underground.
Well, I think that's actually the big news of the last 12 months, quite frankly, the Shale component, right? And keeps up to date with how the underground goes, for sure. You got 12, 13 million bucks. Let's kind of keep this short and punchy like we said we would, which is the questions that people are asking are around like, remind us, how do you play this? You've learned some lessons over at Go Gold about the way that you time resources, why you keep drilling so that you don't actually have to go and pay for and build a mine anytime soon. So what's your strategy? So
we would follow a similar strategy. It's every project has its pace. It's very important to us. That's what we think about. The pace for this one was those 3 drill rigs to start to understand the structure when we got there. The institutions had given us unlimited capital. They wanted us to go fast. I had to have many conversations with some of the top institutions, multi-billion-dollar funds, and say, guys, we've done this before. Pace. 3, we'll turn to 6, which it did.
Drills.
And then we evolved into the shale, which is great. But now it's time. That was walking and running. It's time to sprint, Matt. And sprint means more drills, more underground, but rest assured, this is the first breath of life into the Tigre mine to start resuming mining. And we're thinking about how we're going to do that. That high grade, we cannot not pay attention to that. We need to get at that as soon as possible. You won't see that this year, but if you don't think as miners we're planning that, we are. Stay tuned.